It's All Stars TV, and we're counting down. The road to Sheffield has begun. Entries just about open for the 2024 edition of UK Charity All Stars. Pleased to be joined today with representatives from Team Mind and also Gareth Hubback from the Charity Committee. Hubs, Team Mind, one of the success stories you could say of All Stars.
Absolutely, 100%. The work they've done over the last several years since they came into the event has been nothing short of spectacular, and that's not only from a fundraising point of view, but definitely from an awareness point of view. The All Stars, obviously, it grew as it started with 2 teams many years ago, and whenever there's been an expansion, possibly, we've always looked with inside the players for who to support. So additional charities have been added on. So when we went to 4 to 8 teams, again, we went out to the players, and I think at that time, I think mental health was just coming into the world as actually being recognised as not a stigma anymore. So it was 100% a charity we wanted to get behind and get a team going to participate. So Mind was then obviously brought into the All Stars, captain selected, and then obviously player selected for the team, and I think it's clear to see that decision was a right one. As I say, it's not only the fundraising, it's the advocacy all the players do. It's you look at Rachel going to Wigan, always a witness last year. It was what it was.
Witness,
yeah, witness. See, I got it right first time. Last year, and spreading the message, and really they spread the message 12 months of the year. It's not just the weekend. They're one of the teams who have really caught on board. And so when we looked to our last expansion, we looked at something which similar, which is Rachel's going to touch on, but with the Barbarians being born, it's charities and stories which are close to people's hearts. And mental health is a personal issue, and it's personal in many more ways than one. So I'm going to leave it there before it gets a little bit emotional, and hand over to Rachel.
So I think since taking over as captain last year, obviously raising money for Mind has been amazing. They're so supportive. They're an absolutely fantastic charity. But our main aim last year was to focus on the awareness as well as the fundraising. And what I absolutely love about all the other mental health charities is they all champion each other. And that's something that made me kind of reevaluate who we were as a team. And I thought it would just be incredible if we could shed some light on some of the other charities that are out there, in the hope that then perhaps people could find the help that they needed. You know, Mind is amazing, but it might not be the best suit for some person. So what other charities can we show off? So yeah, last year was incredible with the team anyway. You know, they're just the most amazing group of people. But again, it is a personal thing. You know, they've all used various different services. You know, Yanni's used Samaritans. I know Wes has used Andy Mann Club. You know, there's lots of other charities out there that we wanted to shed light on. So after All Stars last year, I put it to the team and I said, look, this is what I'm thinking of doing. I'm only going to do it if I have your backing. And as always, team were super supportive. You know, this would be amazing if we could open it up to other charities. And then it was, okay, great. But, you know, where do we start with this? So we started contacting some charities, obviously contacted Hubs to just say, you know, is this an option? You know, is this a possibility? I know we briefly touched on it, Hubs, when we did your Big Moose talk. And I said, you know, I love Mind, but lots of the team have used other services, and, you know, I'd love them to come under our wing. So yeah, we start getting the ball rolling. So sent off a proposal to the committee after discussing with Mind. You know, they were on board, they were happy, and chatting to some other charities. And then very pleased to have found out that our proposal was to be accepted. So am I allowed to reveal what charities we're doing?
Accepted and supported.
Accepted and supported. Am I allowed to reveal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. So next year we are just absolutely over the moon that not only are we going to be raising money for Mind, but we also will be raising money for Samaritans, Pandas, Papyrus, Andy Mann's Club, Sobs, Calm, and Young Minds. So with this, we've got people in our team who have used these services. So again, it's a personal thing for them to be fundraising. And also it means that as a team, we can shed light on these charities and get more funds raised for them, but mainly awareness as well. We've tried to choose, it was really hard narrowing them down, it really was. But we've tried to go down the route that there's something for everybody, no matter what age, what background. So it's covering everything. So with that, didn't mean to go down the rebrand route and said to Hubs, I was like, yeah, it's fine, we're going to stay as Mind Ice Hockey. It's, you know, it all makes sense. But after chatting to Wes, Danny and Will, it made sense that, you know, perhaps we need to have a change and a bit of a new identity to kind of suit the new charities that we're taking under our wing. So yeah, am I allowed to also announce our official title?
The new identity?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The new identity. Okay, amazing. So again, super proud to announce that we will now be called Mental Health Ice Hockey to suit obviously all the charities that we're taking under our wing, which is fantastic. It makes way more sense than obviously Mind Ice Hockey. To me, we'll always be Team Mind, but obviously, like, you know, boobies, you've got Team Boobies that are breast cancer now, so you know it is still part of the Mind. So nobody, you know, is going to change that with me. But yeah, I think Mental Health Ice Hockey makes way more sense. And then yeah, Will has just been absolutely, oh my goodness, so instrumental with how we've had this new identity change. And I think it's like through him having a vision and us discussing last week, you know, what route we're going to go down, kind of confirmed that this is what we need to do to move forward. So I'd like to hand over that to Will.
Yeah, it was a bit of a back and forth, wasn't it, Rach? I think we had tens of different ideas for what did we want our logo to look like. Were we going to change the name? Were we not going to change the name? And I think it was one of them things where it all just clicked within a 5-minute window, where we weren't really getting a bit frustrated and a bit stumped, sort of thinking, well, maybe we should just stay as Team Mind because this is going to be a bit harder than we thought. And then it sort of all came together really quickly. But yeah, some big changes. Obviously, the name change is the primary one, but new logo, new jerseys, and I think we've tried really hard to not just create a logo for the sake of having a logo and create a jersey for the sake of having a jersey. We've been a team over the last few years that have really focused on how can we maximize our impact visually. So we've always tried to have, you know, a bit of an internal pride battle with other teams of who can have the best jersey or the most striking jersey. And, you know, the Team Mind logos always stood out. And whilst it was a great design, we kind of both agreed that it didn't really fit the objective of we're trying to show that we're a really broad community to encompass all different forms of mental health support services and charities. And it was quite hard to sort of pinpoint how we wanted that to look. So a bit of a left field idea that came out of the blue was that we go with a dog logo, which I think we are going to have a charity raffle to decide the name of the dog at some point to get the fundraising started. But yeah, the reasoning behind it with a few different reasons. One is obviously the World Health Organization define mental health problems as a black dog that follows people around, and it's quite it's a really nice way of demedicalizing and sort of making the stigma associated with having this sort of condition a little bit less traumatic for people to learn and understand and cope with it. And the other side as well is that we actually realized afterwards when people we showed a few people and they said, but you support animal charities. And then immediately that's a conversation starter to say, no, we're a mental health team. And all of a sudden we're talking about the work that we're doing with the charities. So, you know, it provides that opportunity at the base level of what we want to try to achieve is just to get people to talk about mental health more, while still remaining visually striking and trying to achieve what we always like to achieve of being the best dressed team every year at the weekend. So
Okay.
I think people will get a bit of a shock when they see it next year. It's very different to what we've had before. The colour scheme, Rach is very pleased with, I think. So yeah, hopefully it does the job and has the impact that we want. But I think it's gone down well with the people that have seen it so far. So here's to a new era, as we've been saying for the last few days.
Yeah, and mental health ice hockey. What Rachel said about Mind kind of supporting the change is interesting, because it's not a competition between the charities, is it? It's kind of growing everybody's fighting for funding, and funding is important. But if you grow the awareness, you're kind of growing the pie, so everybody gets a slice of a bigger pie. So there's more support for your Andy's Mind Club and Papyrus and Young Minds and Mind and Samaritans, the gamut of the charity you're raising for. So it's the awareness element is still the huge part of. Yes, the money's important, but the awareness is key as well, Rachel.
Oh, absolutely. And with chatting to emailing all the charities, they're so excited that it's like there's so many involved all together, and they're just so super excited about it, which is just lovely. Like, even with Mine, they weren't like, don't do that. We want you to stay solely with us. They're so for it. And that just speaks volumes for who they are and what they stand for. But we just want people to talk about it and get the help that they want, whatever avenue that might be. So for us to have a new identity in this way is fantastic, and it's just so us where we are right now. So I'm so grateful to everyone that's been involved for it to get us to this point. It's fantastic.
So yeah, so just to kind of build on what Rach is saying, and Craig's question about the different forms of services, and almost becoming a signposting service ourselves to help people know there are different avenues out there. So our jerseys next year, whilst they'll all have the same main design, the individual players will, instead of having the team name across the front of the jersey, they'll all have the team logo slightly smaller, but we will have the charity name unique to the player and their personal journey across the front of the jersey with the charity logo on the shoulder. So whilst we all look the same, the understanding and acceptance of the different mental health experiences that people have within our own team is reflected on the jerseys that we wear, which I think we both agree is a really nice touch that we hopefully are able to pull off and provide, and just links it a little bit more to the player and what they've achieved over the course of the year fundraising for that charity.
Absolutely. I think it's key there to point out the support we'll get from cross-check, because obviously that's what we did with the Barbarians last year, that every jersey had the charity which the person was supporting. And I think even more so with mental health, that's going to be a really key driver for the shirts and the story of the shirts and the story of the team. So getting props to cross-check, one of our the people who supply our jerseys. I know they're fully supportive as well, like everyone is.
No, and it's really exciting. I say we'll have the images. People will have seen the images. You've been talking about it, Will, during the interview, but as we do the edit, it'll, by the magic of television, people will have seen them while we're talking. So it looks stunning, and I say the as people get to know the theme of the stripes on the jersey, the stripes on the arm, everything means something, and it's I think it's going to resonate with a huge number of people. And what Hub said at the beginning about it, it's kind of the natural evolution of All Stars. We had the Barbarians, and this is now one of our own teams kind of evolving into something bigger as well, and it's all part of the growth and the development of All Stars.